sit down first before you sit down.
It's your
not.
house.
It's not. Whatever,
It's
man.
your studio.
It's not chivalry. You were just standing up. I was like, sit your ass down. And you're like sitting. You're like a dog.
know.
You're like a dog. You're making circles before you lay down. Do you scratch your pillow first
I'm
before
trying
you?
to get, trying to get comfortable.
By the way, we got to change this up a little bit because I have to keep reaching across myself to get.
Well,
my
and then
coffee.
I can't cross my legs because you're big.
I know. I get my big ass feet. It's funny because I was putting out my week's wardrobe last night for the week. I do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and really it's just one pair of pants, and that's laid across the bed. Just my pair of pants.
I see that.
I have that little thing there to make sure I'm wearing the same pair, but they're clean.
No, that's style. That's a rip. Is that a tear or is that like toothpaste?
No, it's toothpaste.
Okay. That's
Or sperm or something that's got on my pants from somewhere. But that's what a real man does.
What? Have sperm on their pants?
Have sperm on their pants. They don't worry about it. We don't do shout. We don't do those kind of things, and that's kind of what I want to get into today a little bit.
You know, dog sperm doesn't freeze like human sperm.
I was not aware of that. Thank you for filling us in, Brandon.
I wanted to breed
Thank
my
you.
dog, but I didn't want to do it right now, so I thought maybe we could freeze it and maybe later on, but dog sperm does not freeze.
I find that I never want to breed anything. It just breeds on its own. I've had goats, I've had chickens, I've had dogs, I've had kittens. I just kind of like I don't force breeding anything. Like that'd be saying, Brandon, you need to go meet this woman tonight. We're breeding you. I don't do that to an animal because it's going to find its own way. Life finds a way.
Except
even when there's two males. You put two guys in a room long enough, there'll be a baby in about 10 years. They'll figure it out. That's what those miners in Chile were going to do.
Yeah. Except for thoroughbred horses coming off the Derby. Dude, that horse sperm. Have you ever met? I told you this. No, listen. Oh my God! You know how much
that horse
worth?
sperm.
You know how much that's worth?
Yeah,
Tens
it's like
of thousands of dollars.
I know. I think was it? What was it? What was the horse? About 3 years ago, and I think they were getting like $250,000 a pop.
Have you ever seen? I mean, I know you spent some time in Kentucky. Have you ever seen out in Lexington where they keep the horses who are done or when they're
you're talking about Louisville or Lexington?
Out in Lexington, the horse farms where they keep the horses who are
it's absolutely
retired.
Incredible.
It's
I would say
it looks like a 5-star hotel.
Yeah, I lived in Louisville, and if you ever want an incredible drive, just drive through Lexington, and it's just black fences and these horses, and they're just galloping alongside the interstate in slow motion, and you swear you see like Fabio riding one, and it's just the most amazing. Yeah, they it's the same thing in Barcelona and in Spain. If a bull ends up winning.
That's right.
A match. They're put up and they're studded out and they are good to go and they are pampered and because they have to have all the right. It's like organic cows.
Coolest job I ever heard of was an equine lawyer.
Oh, that's good.
I met an equine attorney in Lexington, and it took me just a hot minute. It took me a minute. I was like, he's like, I'm an equine attorney.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's weird. And then his entire thing is negotiating sperm contracts.
Talking about millions and millions of dollars.
I know.
And I know you mentioned the horse that won on Saturday was bought for $1,000
originally,
and a lot of them are. And of course, when you're Bob Baffert and you're the greatest trainer of our time, and he's won 7. It's weird. 7 seems to come up because obviously Tom Brady just got his 7th Super Bowl a few months ago, and he's the GOAT. And now Bob Baffert's the GOAT.
He's Saban, don't you think?
Yeah, he's one cool character, man. He's never seen without the glasses.
No, he always wears the same thing.
No, he's fantastic looking. He's always tan. he's like, no, he's one cool looking dude.
And he's humble in a.
No, he's not humble.
No. But he's not over the top, right?
You see him on television.
Yeah, but
I've met him a couple of times. I'm not saying he's an a-hole or anything, but I
just love it.
He's
and it was 12. And you know the thing I like.
He's very good at what he does, and he knows it.
You look like George Hamilton. You know George Hamilton.
Not that tan.
Okay.
Yeah,
not like we
he's
got
close.
a problem.
He's close.
But not like we got a problem.
If
tan.
he had black
George
hair,
Hamilton still alive?
Is George Hamilton dead?
I think he's still alive.
Okay.
Is he still tan?
Problem.
Oh yeah. But yeah, pretty amazing stuff. But you mentioned $1,000, and you're like, well, $1,000, and it turns it into millions. But when you talk about the millions of dollars that are used in order to, because Bob Baffert's not cheap.
He doesn't do it for like $50.
There's probably now that horse obviously is going to make a ton of money, and it worked out really good because that 14 and 15 horses, which were the odds-on favorites, got binded up there at the beginning, and it helped. But being said, it was saying
this horse didn't have a shot at the Triple Crown.
Probably not, but I mean, it was a long shot. I think it paid $26. Yep. But it's funny because whenever you see a horse that's a long shot like that, it's like they catch lightning in a bottle, and next thing you know, that horse may be It may have the best odds for the second leg. We'll see.
Okay, so related to horses, sperm,
Yes.
and I can't think of anything else. Did you see the highlight of Boston-Portland game? Marcus Smart got ejected.
I did not see it. I watched a lot of NBA this weekend. That was one game.
So,
I watched the Antetokounmpo 49-point game yesterday.
Tatum had 60.
And Durant had 40.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so in this, Smart was coming off of a screen, and he ran into, I'm blanking on the guy's name, he ran into the big man for Portland.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a collision, and then you saw the big man for Portland sort of double over.
Yeah.
And they immediately went and they reviewed it, and he was immediately ejected. He punched him in the nuts.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he already forearmed him in the nuts. And it made me think.
Smart did. Smart
did. I mean, it looked initially just like a collision.
Yeah.
And then I don't know why. Well, they were reviewing it because he doubled over.
Yeah.
And when you saw in slow motion, I mean, in slow motion, it was so painful to watch. It wasn't even fist. It was just this part of the forearm. Just, ugh. So it reminded me thinking, and you watched him, it was that delayed, that I'm okay, I'm not okay. Do you think that's the worst, most painful thing for a guy is to be punched?
I think it's the worst thing for a dude to do to another dude. I got a 16-year-old son, and I remember in school, someone would, they'd smack your junk, and I'm always like, dude, that is the most uncool. When you tell a woman who's being raped, that's where you go, then you don't do it to another dude even as a joke.
Okay.
You just don't.
Yep.
I know kids are goofballs, and I think they think it's funny. It's not even the pain. You just don't touch another man's junk.
Why?
Because you're a guy.
Okay.
Unless you're not a guy, or perhaps you're leaning towards homosexuality, which will make me.
We're all kind of leaning towards homosexuality.
Right.
These days, sounds like a pretty good idea.
Archie.
But
if you're leaning towards homosexuality, why would you punch him?
Just for any. You remember the whole NFL thing where the guys were on the piles and there was one dude that kept grabbing guys' asses?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, but he wasn't grabbing their.
There's no dude out there in his right mind, if he's all right here and he's a heterosexual, and I'm not saying he needs to be heterosexual, but and you're right, wants to even get his hands even remotely close to another man's junk.
Okay, well, hang on then.
If you are in a room with a porn star and she is the best looking thing you've ever seen, and they're like, she's all yours, but there's going to be another guy in the room, 99% of guys will go, I'm out, just because I may end up putting my hand on something I ain't supposed to, and guys ain't going to do that. And that's perfect for what I want to get into today.
Okay, but so is Marcus Smart gay then? No.
I don't know, is he?
No, but okay.
Do you know that?
No, I don't.
Guys don't punch other guys in the nuts. And particularly in an NBA game where they're going to look at it. There's no way you can inadvertently slap some guy's junk.
Slap it.
Slap it, punch it, hit it, touch it. There's no way you can even graze it without someone knowing, he was trying to touch that guy's junk. And why in the world? I mean, I don't even want to look at, I'll touch your face, I'm a hugger, but I ain't going anywhere below the belt, dude.
Okay, but I was just talking about a cheap shot. Yep. What about boxers?
It's not a cheap shot.
So if you box and you hit below the belt, that means you're gay?
No, because in boxing, it happens a lot of times because you have different heights of guys and they're wailing punches.
Well,
in that particular case, he did it on purpose, correct? Because it was a flagrant.
Well, he was, yes.
He had to go out of his way to make sure he knew where his junk was to slap it. And you're talking about a millisecond.
So every oncologist is gay?
I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to figure out his logic.
You're talking about
no, that's gynecologist. Urologist.
Urologist. What's an oncologist?
I know.
Oncologist
that's
is cancer. Yeah. Urologist. Every urologist is gay.
What about a proctologist?
No, it's a doctor, for God's sake.
Oh, so when you put a degree behind it, you're not gay.
So if Marcus Smart was a doctor,
that doesn't mean that every gynecologist is a perv either, because they get to look at vaginas all day.
Okay,
they're a doctor. They have that thing that hangs on the wall. They're a little, what is it called? That thing.
Degree?
Yeah. No, the thing. I solemnly swear that I will not touch a woman's vagina thinking nasty thoughts. What does that say?
It's a Hippocratic Oath.
The Hippocratic Oath, yes.
Right.
That don't be Hippocratic.
I don't think it's specific to discipline. It doesn't say I will specifically.
I can say this because I know of 3 guys.
He's so knowledgeable.
I know of 3 guys, and one's listening to the show right now, so I got to be careful.
Be careful.
And this guy's like 60. Every time I get around him, I've got to watch myself because I know it's coming. He's 60 years old. I'm like, dude.
What, you trying to touch you?
Yeah, he tries to do the old snap.
Because he's
on the
gay?
junk.
Well, but see, like I don't get. Okay,
he's 60 years. He's 60 years old. He has got hair past his shoulders. He's been divorced 3 times, and he's an actor.
I mean, you might.
So yes, he must be gay. Yes,
I know.
he's gay.
So every kid. So if you see your kid,
I'm just saying, if you're a 16-year-old man, if I ever saw my son snap another guy's junk,
yeah,
he'd probably be grounded for the rest of the year.
but would you think?
First of all, because I'd say, listen, how would that make you feel?
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's not there. You could punch him on the shoulder, you could smack him on the head,
no,
you can give him a noogie, you can do whatever. You don't touch another man's junk.
Right.
Period.
So, but that's going to do with your sexual.
And if you do, you got something psychologically wrong. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
a cheap
yes.
shot. That's just a cheap shot. That's,
No, it's not.
That was my whole
You don't
point.
touch another man's junk.
Okay, jeez.
You ever see a woman go up there and just twist another woman's breasts?
Yep.
Well, there you have it.
But no.
There you go.
If if it brings some sort of comedic quality.
Do women do that?
Well, yeah, of course.
Do women snap each other?
Of course.
I've never seen it. I've
think
never
that's
seen it.
common.
I've
I don't
never
know.
seen.
Because
I've
it's
never
common.
seen it.
Because it's boy behavior. I mean,
Exactly.
I mean, we're hitting things and we're slapping.
It's not
things.
boy behavior.
So okay, but you lost. Okay, can we just? We'll wrap this piece part up. But you've lost me on a piece that I'm trying to grasp because I had it all about hitting in the nuts.
Totally uncool.
Okay, it's uncool.
Yeah.
Totally get that. It's a low blow, to use a pun.
Mm-hmm.
But now you've got this whole other piece where it is potentially a signal of your sexual.
I'm not saying sex.
Okay.
I'm being over the top. But
Okay.
I will.
Okay.
I will say there's either some type of insecurity there at a much bigger level. When you're willing to inflict pain on somebody by hitting something that low,
Yeah.
I think it goes much deeper than that.
So-
I'm not saying they're homosexual, but
No.
but I am saying I think there's a psychological. They may have been snapped a lot when they were younger. They may have something wrong with that area.
Really?
It may not be.
So like even Marcus Smart. I just want to say even Marcus Smart at the pro level.
Marcus
the
Smart's
cheap shot-
not the cleanest guy out
No, well,
there.
that's what I'm saying. Do you think he's got problems, or it's just with him it's just a complete cheap shot?
Complete cheap
let me
shot.
tell you-
and feels really comfortable touching other guys' junks, and I would wonder about that. I would call him out if I was his teammate. And he's not been. I'm not saying he's a dirty player, but he ain't the cleanest guy.
No. So one last thing. My stepfather, was an Olympic water polo player, and he said, and this was before the days of cameras underneath. He said the stuff that went on. I mean, it was yanking all day long, kicking, all that kind of stuff. So are they all gay?
It would happen. No, I'm not saying they're all gay, but
They all have problems?
there's a psychological. Okay. That's something you need to get in front of a Dr. Josh Klapow, life coach.
In wrestling, like they used to stick their thumb up each other's ass.
I don't know about
distract
that.
them and stuff.
Like
in pro
okay,
wrestling.
that's a good way to distract. I know they do it. I heard a lot because I played radio with a lot of football guys. I know in the bottom of piles.
Oh,
kicking,
a lot of
right?
guys.
Yeah, my brother played.
Well, kicking's a little different. I mean, if you're talking about getting it,
is kicking better?
well,
Like
than using your hands.
Oh,
If you're trying to get if you're trying to get the fumble,
heel shot to the groin.
See, I
Well,
think
first of all-
grazing hurts worse than a full-on shot. Like if you
I would agree.
graze it,
Grazing has more of a chafing feel,
yeah.
right? But a full-on shot is it's called a vasovagal. There's the delay. There's the delay, and you watched him.
Yep.
You can see it. They grab their stomach. They grab their stomach for 2 reasons. One, public perception. I'm good. It's all up here. I'm up here. And then you watch. You go 1, 2, and then he was down.
Yeah, as you get a little older, it takes longer. It takes longer, period, for pain.
I was a soccer goalie, dude. It hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And I was 16, and I used to, every time I get kicked or whatever, because I was so embarrassed, they got me in my stomach, and then I was down on
I'll bet you they do a lot in rugby just because they're holding on to each other for a long period of
Okay,
time.
that was all I
But in
wanted.
football, when they're piling up and you
Yeah.
can't see the ball, I was told by Jay and Al,
What do they say?
my radio partner, that they'd be twisting and gouging, and but they are poking eyes, they're sticking fingers in ears, they're doing all kinds of stuff. He said you wouldn't believe, and that's why I always said I'd wear a cup if I played. And they're like, you never wore a cup when you played football.
Because not a real man wouldn't wear a cup.
Exactly. Well, I would because I
I
protect
would.
my jewels.
I
Yeah.
would. Okay, go ahead.
May is, and this is the first show of May, is No Meat May.
Is that a Lent
It's a-
thing?
No, it's a cultural movement in this world.
It's also Mental Health Month. I wonder if that's got one thing to do with it.
No, it's also National Barbecue Month in the United States. But it's
But
no,
oh.
and it's also National Salad Month. But we'll get into that later. You're talking about the thing. It's probably salad. I think. they call it salad,
we did the
right?
whole.
Salad.
We did the whole shit. Lettuce.
Huh?
Depending on lettuce, your junk smells like lettuce.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, the No Meat May. It's a movement that started on Saturday, and it's got a lot of very positive properties to it, if in fact, but it's the vegan world trying to take over is what it is. They're trying to get, they're saying, hey, just for a month, for 31 days, don't eat meat. It's going to save an animal a day. It's going to save fur. It's going to save methane gas emissions, and everyone will be healthier.
Okay.
And there was a survey that came out of the UK, and then it crossed over the United States, that found out that roughly 60% of men would give up 10 years of their life rather than give up meat for the rest of their life. They're like, no, I'd give up 10, and I'd be one of those guys. Because, I mean, if I'm going to live my life, I'm going to live my life happy. If you sit there and say, hey, listen, you could be 95, but you have to give up this, this, and this, I'm like, no, I'd rather be die at 70 and enjoy the vices of my life. And meat is one of those things. It's real easy because I'm trying, we're always trying to make the kids, eat healthier, and I try to put some greens on the table, and now I just throw a bowl of strawberries on the table with every meal, and I go, there you go.
Well, if they eat the tips, then they're getting their
But it's always, what are we starting with? Meat. Now, once in a while, we'll have like a pasta, and there's no meat involved, but even it's cheese ravioli, it's not. So that's where I'm. But for the most part, most men, and it's interesting because 60% of men say they give up 10 years of their life in order to continue to eat meat, and then 17% of men said they have to eat meat. Because if they're not as masculine. And I totally agree.
Okay.
Totally agree.
Well, I think that, obviously, I couldn't care less if you're a vegetarian and vegan. You can do whatever you want. But I'm not going to say most, but a lot of vegetarians, vegans have this self-righteousness.
When
someone else is eating meat.
Yeah. They're miserable.
It's almost like a double standard.
Yeah.
Like they don't want to be bothered by what they eat, but they definitely bother you by what
it's
you
soccer.
eat.
It's soccer hockey. Hockey fans could give a rat's ass whether I watch hockey. Yeah. They could care less, and it makes me want to watch hockey. I'm like, we're going to a hockey game. They don't go, you should go, man. It's great. We have a great. They just go where they're going. And then I'm like, well, what are you guys doing? Soccer fans, that's why soccer hasn't caught on here. It's caught on now. But for the longest time, soccer fans, you need to watch soccer, dude. It's great. It's fantastic, man. You need to learn the game. You should. It's a beautiful sport, blah, blah. And I'm like, no. And it's one of the reasons I didn't want to watch it, because we've got football, real football, not football. And so now that soccer fans are getting large enough, they don't need to worry about going out there and finding new fans. Now it's starting to get a little cool. And of course, the women's team's coming.
There's proven health benefits to eating meat. I mean, there's some proteins. It cures. I mean, it's proven to cure autoimmune disease. High protein diet.
High protein. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, and also you're killing plants when you're eating vegetables.
Exactly.
Oh, geez.
So,
and that's what we talked about before the show came on. A real man kills things. It's happened ever since we had Neanderthal men.
Yep.
And men go out and kill their dinner. They had to go out and kill their dinner. They couldn't go to Publix and go shop for a Boston butt, which I'm going to make, by the way, later this afternoon. And I'm going to eat meat until I puke, and then I'm going to eat it again. I'm going to get gout, and then I'll wake up tomorrow morning and finish it.
To that?
No.
Huh? And I had a pork loin last night. I'm going to kill the whole pig this week. You know how I am.
I know. See, you're like all. Well, you're not.
You know how I am, but you know how I am. I think there are some things. We went through the whole fern guy thing.
But you're a little fern guy.
Well, it's really easy to cross over into that area where you lose your masculinity. You lose who you really are. You lose your authenticity. And so I'm not saying that guys, but I'm about, if there's a woman in the car, I'm driving. Most women love that.
That's fine.
Most women. There was another survey that just came out. I was seeing over the weekend about things that women love about men, and it's all about not the looks. Remember we did the thing about the girls?
Yes.
Guys don't care about what women look like. Well, sure they do. Physical attraction certainly is part of that. But once you get past the physical attraction part, and if you can find a good-looking girl that's got everything, and an ugly girl's got everything, I'm taking the good-looking one. Why not take the good-looking one? Well, they did the reverse thing. So what women love about guys?
Okay.
And 89% of them said they like masculine men. They like men to be masculine.
Do they define that though?
Yeah.
Okay,
from the standpoint, they like guys who
eat meat,
hair. They like guys that are strong. They like guys that are dependent. They like guys who take the trash out. They like guys who know.
Wait, dependent or independent?
Independent.
Oh, I
sorry.
Thought you said
they like guys who not. They one woman said there's nothing sexier than seeing a guy change a tire in a car. They like guys who know some bit of auto mechanics. They like guys who like hunters.
Okay.
They like.
What about men changing baby diapers?
They're okay with that too.
Yeah.
That's great. But you have to have that other stuff. You can water your plants and have a beautiful garden. But your ass better know how to change the oil in the car too. Yeah, okay. You better be able to cut grass.
Well, so that okay.
You can do all those things. Listen, you can go to an opera. You can go to ballet.
But now it's interesting. Now, are you even more of an appealing man if you can do those things plus?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so it's those.
Oh, you don't have to be a meathead. You don't have to be a...
Because I think that's important because we sort of talk, because you get those surveys come out.
Yeah.
Those surveys come out and you get the interpretation is always, see, all I got to do is cut grass, eat meat, and be a man, and women will love me. And really the idea is we don't want you to lose some of those qualities, but at the same time, they also want you to not say, well, I don't need to change baby's diaper because that's not my job.
Yeah.
And they want you to be able to, I don't know, tend to your ferns.
Or depending on your role play and your relationship.
I get it. I get it. But I think we're looking for it as men. We're looking for that. It's almost like that excuse to not have to go the extra mile, to not get out of our comfort zone. I see guys doing this all the time. Well, that's not what I do.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what I do. You know, I bring home the money. I'm the one who fixes things around the house.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I do. And what's interesting to me is in a relationship, she says, well, that's great, but I also bring home money. Maybe not as much.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I can fix things as easy as you can. So it's great that you are, and I appreciate it, but it doesn't make you that much more appealing to me other than you are somewhat, you can somewhat take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Like
I think that there's a small, very loud group of people that are trying to make beta men the new heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, I don't think there's a lot of them, but I think they're the loudest.
Yep.
I think this new wave of, and I'm going to say it, feminism, I think they just hate masculine men. They just hate them. It's not even about women's rights anymore. It's about just hating strong masculine men.
But see, I think
but you say that, but if they met a strong man, say we're on The Bachelor, and they meet that guy, takes his shirt off, has got the six pack, this, that, and the other, likes to change, they will turn pretty quick. They will turn pretty quick.
But so let me ask you this: if you're a guy and you're striving to be just the best you can for you or to go get women.
Mm-hmm.
You got the whole list of traditional masculine things. Okay, I got to learn how to change a tire. I need to do the oil. I need to be able to make things and all that kind of stuff. Is it reasonable to say I also should be reading up on, literature or how to do plants, or that I need to incorporate? I need to bring that into my repertoire. That if I'm going to be a real man, I better be able to do all the sort of historically traditional things and at least a few of the other, or to carry your man card, you don't need to do those things.
I mean, I'll use the ultimate man as an example here. Superman. Clark Kent is a geek.
Yes.
And most people in an office would think he's even gay. And they go, and he's impeccably dressed.
Yes.
He's kind of prim and proper. He's
smart.
very chivalrous.
Mm-hmm.
He's incredibly smart. He works at a newspaper, and then he goes out and kicks everyone's ass at nighttime.
So that is.
So
I like
yeah,
that.
if you can get that guy, that's great. But he's still got to go out and kick everyone's butt. He's still saving the world, right? I'm not saying guys need to do that, but they do need to have some masculine qualities. I know you don't like that word masculinity, but they can't be emasculated. And I think a lot of men are going through that right now because we're getting these mixed messages. Oh, we love soft guys who are emotional, who are okay to cry, and that's fine. But you better not lose those other qualities. You better not.
I totally agree.
If you're hiring a landscaping service, you're losing your masculinity. If you decide I don't want to change the oil in the car anymore, or I think we saw the television commercial, Josh.
So I go get my.
Do you remember the commercial? Do you remember the commercial? The guy pulls up in the car and he's sitting in the passenger seat, and he sees his buddy in the motorcycle, and the wife gets out. Yeah. Hey, John, how you doing?
I do that.
And then what does she say to him? What does she say to him?
Hey,
John, do you want to drive now, or is your stomach still squeezy? Okay. That right there. That's what that is. It's a whole television commercial. It's all part of losing your masculinity.
No, that commercial.
I will fall asleep at the wheel of the car with my family in the back seat before I'll let my wife drive.
Tony, but you lost it. That whole commercial is to.
It's all about a wuss.
No, but it's to make him more masculine.
No, it's not. Yeah, because the dude that doesn't have the family is on the motorcycle gassing up because he's heading to Utah.
But you're taking it down. I don't like the road you're taking it down.
Point at me when he says that.
Yeah.
No, I think I'm the perfect picture
Yes, he
of
is.
a guy.
Yeah.
I can go to Woodhouse Day Spa for 7 hours and enjoy every moment.
There you go.
But I can also go on a camping trip for 3 days and not take a shower and
That's
be
right.
okay.
But and you teach ballroom dancing.
And I teach ballroom
But that, I mean, I think that's my point. That's
You're
my
a real
point.
catch.
Yeah, did you see?
You are the man. I'm starting
But
to feel
this is
something.
the thing I don't. This is I think where the thing that I think we as men we start whining. They're taking our masculinity away from us. You hear this all the time. We're being emasculated. They're taking it away from us. They're not Nobody's taking anything away from.
But they're sending messages.
Yeah, but okay, but even it's fine.
And guys will do anything for money or women.
Yeah, but okay.
And so we're hearing.
But you can play that on the women's side too. You play on the women's side. We say all the time that society sends the wrong messages to women, right, about their bodies and what's important. So all I'm saying as a guy, stop saying they're sending messages that are somehow turning you into somebody that you can't be. Yes, you can do all those masculine things, and yes, you better be able to go to a day spa, and you better be able to, if you want to be the most that you can be. Like I don't buy into the don't take my meat away. If you take my meat away, no, I'm sorry, not don't and if. Everyone's trying to. That's the thing I don't like. Everyone's trying to make me somebody I'm not.
Yeah,
that's
no, I mean, listen. As growing up, I think that's something instilled into most boys by their father. It was a cultural thing. My dad never changed a diaper, and I obviously had an issue with that because when I had my
my parents didn't. My dad neither. My parents
when he had his grandbaby, he's like he wouldn't even touch the child if it had poop in his drawers.
Didn't you think
what's wrong with you?
Didn't you think? I mean, as much respect as you had for your dad, and understanding that was generational, because I know exactly what you're talking about with my kid. It bugged me. I mean, I wasn't mad at my dad, but I saw that, and he's like,
because he wouldn't do. Yeah, because my dad would go out and kill a beaver, but he wouldn't change a diaper.
But that's what I mean. Like that to me, that's pretty hypocritical.
My dad had a gag reflex.
Have you seen that video?
Oh yeah, the guy in the armed forces, and he's like, yeah.
See, I don't know, man, and I think it goes men, women. To me, it's gay, straight. There's this whole sort of what society is telling us, and I think the worst example is women and body image. And I'm not going to go down that route, but it is the worst example of what we've seen can happen if the messages get strong enough. Oh, so if the message got strong enough, what will we become as men? No meat.
I don't know, but I mean, listen, we're all at different ages. We're hanging out with different women. Some women love to be submissive to men and love men that are going to be the ones that put their arms around them in thunderstorms and all that stuff. There's going to be other women that are looking for independent men, but they will have a soft side. Yep. I will say this, though, and we just look at the way our culture is. If you look at movies, we love guys. Oh, my goodness. We love guys that are willing to go out and kick someone's ass. But then he's sitting there reading poem to her or a rose. Right. We love that because he's got everything. That's what the Bachelor's all about. Exactly.
Yeah, I think we're losing the Bruce Willises of the world.
We are losing the Bruce Willis of the world because there's a lot of people that feel like if you don't have some of those softer tendencies, then you're just a knucklehead. Yeah, well, but there are a lot of women that dig that.
But see,
that's very alluring for women.
I don't like the softer tendencies.
Let's go to the animal kingdom.
But the softer you call it softer. You mean because you're not kicking someone's ass? Yes. Okay, fine. So if it's violence versus non-violence, I would call it softer. But I see this in corporations all the time. They call it they call communication, being able to talk to someone. Oh, that's a soft skill. Yeah. That's a soft skill, being able to talk to someone. But
I don't even know what that means. Just because you can talk to somebody doesn't make you soft.
No, but so if you read poetry, is that a softer thing?
Not if you just change the oil in your car.
That's right.
It's all about balance.
That's what I mean.
But if I'm sitting there talking to a dude and he's got to leave halfway through a football game because he's got to go home and feed the kittens, I'm probably going to give him hell.
I think it's very important to keep out into society that there's differences between men and women.
Sure.
And I think there's a movement where they're trying to make everybody the same.
I want you to be really, really honest with me here. Put your psychological, clear your head.
Okay.
Just chop your head off, empty your brain, and just be a guy for a minute. Go
ahead.
What do you think about, and I'm sure you have friends like this, guys that work are not the breadwinners, and I don't even like the word breadwinner because it's all going into the same thing, but they're not the breadwinner. They've never been the breadwinner in a particular situation, and they have to ask their wives to do anything.
Hang on. So they work?
They work. They have a job.
And does she work?
She works.
Oh, okay. And what do you mean by have to ask?
And they have a family. Hey, let's go golfing tomorrow.
Need to check in with the wife.
I need to check in with the wife.
over the top, meaning check in with everything.
Check in with anything.
Yeah, no, I think it's not good for two reasons. If she's requiring it, then that's not a healthy relationship. In other words, if he's doing it because he knows that he's going to catch grief if he doesn't, that's really bad. But there's another variation on that, which is she's not really requiring it. She's not saying you need to check in with me on everything, and he's still checking in. Is it okay? Would you mind? Would you be? In other words, and she's basically she's like, yeah, that's fine. Go ahead. You don't need to check in with me. In both of those situations, it shows a lack of independence and confidence. Confidence and trust. I mean, I'm trying not to be psychological.
No,
trust, because if she's requiring you to check in with everything,
maybe she doesn't require him. He just feels the need to check in with her first.
Then it's an insecurity, and it's one of those ones where where's it coming from? Are you doing it just to be a good guy? And if you're doing it to be a good guy, great. Just dial it back a little bit.
Now, here's the thing. In most cases, like I used to go to Vegas every year. I was going.
Sure.
But I asked because,
right.
And she'd go, what am I going to say? It's no.
Well, what were you
because
asking for? To be able to go, or it was more like, I go this week?
Hey, our trip's coming up.
Okay.
Something cool. You good? Blah, blah. No, but she knew that made me really happy. I went with my brother and my father. It was an annual trip. I was going well before we got married.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that was in my wedding vows, but I was like, hey, listen.
So you knew what you were getting into.
Well, it's like, if my wife has got a sips and strokes every Tuesday and Thursday when we meet, I'd expect her to continue to do that if that's what she likes, because if it makes her happy, it makes me happy. I've got some time to do my own thing. That's fine.
Yeah.
So I don't think that you have to always ask.
No.
But I do know a lot of guys, and it seems like every one of them are not the breadwinners. And quite frankly, as they've gotten older, they've kind of lost some of their masculinity a little bit. They're kind of like, hey, can I? And it could be like, hey, you want to grab some lunch Wednesday? And let me check and see, make sure the wife's cool. I'm like, what the hell,
see,
dude?
Again, you use a good word. There's a difference between the wife's cool and checking in schedule-wise. Because to me, when you're in a relationship and you're cohabitating, one of the things that you've given up is absolute autonomy, independent. Like by living with somebody, whether you're a roommate or whether they're your spouse or partner, you've made this decision. We're in a relationship. There's compromise, there's scheduling, there's logistics.
Yep.
And I think a lot of guys and women, they come together, they kind of know that, of course we're going to compromise. And then as soon as it gets to like I want to go out Wednesday, I'm going to go out lunch. I'm going to lunch Wednesday with my friends. We had on the books that we're supposed to go to this event. Well, these are with my friends. Yep. That is the moment of reckoning. That's that moment where you recognize, or you should recognize, okay, you're in a relationship. What are you going to do? I'm not saying that you have to acquiesce every time and do it, but I see a lot of men come in and go, well, that's not fair, because these are all the things that I did. I'll tell you the other one. It's not the trips. It's the number one thing. It's the golf. It's golf for men because, I'm sorry. Golf or any other pastime that takes, 5 to 6 hours.
I can tell you right now, which is one of the biggest marriage breakups in this state, hunting.
Yeah.
There's guys.
Yes, right.
I've seen it happen a million times. I'm leaving at 5 o'clock on Friday. I'll be home on Monday morning during hunting season. That's the deal. Ooh. And they were hunters their entire lives.
Yep.
I'm not saying that the wife shouldn't understand it. They know what it's all about. Talk about not taking showers. They don't shower for 3 or 4 days before because the deer will smell their scent. And they get out, they get in the tree. And for the most part, I'm sure it's no big deal.
Yeah.
But I also know women who are getting on the phone saying, I can't wait till hunting season starts.
Right.
Because I got 3 days to do whatever I want to do.
Absolutely. Yeah. But see, that's where it works.
Be careful,
that
hunters.
goes deeper than just
And they're like, you can't call my cell phone. I'm going to be in the middle of nowhere. I want to answer my phone call.
Yeah.
I'm not saying every guy, but I'm just saying it may be a good idea to get a place where you have a lodge where you can check in.
You give her the overestimated version of how many times you do it, and then
look at you, so manipulative.
But say you play golf twice a week,
right?
You tell her that I usually play it 4 or 5 times a week,
right?
Yeah.
Well, that you know what? I mean, I
And
get
then
it.
in her eyes, you're giving a sacrifice.
Sure.
Yeah, but no.
Yeah, there you
See,
go.
this-
That's right.
this
That's
is-
right.
no,
That's
I
right.
agree with you. But
That's
this
right.
is where we're so dumb.
That's being masculine.
No, but
right
no, this is where we're so dumb as guys. I mean, seriously, we're like, yeah, that's a really great idea. Like you, and I know you know this. They know that in a second.
Of course they
Oh,
do.
you're playing that card. And we're calculating on how great I am, and they're calculating, okay, he's going to play 2 days a week. I come back to the same thing. I think, and we've done an entire show on this. We know the divorce rates, but I think most.
What would happen if you split?
What?
If you flip the tables and you meet a woman, she's like, I play tennis 4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah.
For 4 or 5 hours. Like, okay, great. And then next thing you know, she's going.
That's why couples should take ballroom
If you've got
dancing,
a, well,
because it's a thing that
Look
you can
at
do together.
him. Do you want to use your webpage right now?
I don't have a website. I have an Instagram.
No, but it is true. So here's the other thing.
but then you also should at some point say, okay, this is my passion. I would like you to be involved in it.
No,
You can
I
sometimes.
tell you, women golfers are super sexy.
They are. And how about we play doubles?
Okay.
If she says no,
No.
you're like, okay.
But see
well,
that okay. So I think that's super healthy. Is you have your thing, they have their thing.
Mm-hmm.
You both of you introduce the opportunity to join them in their thing if you want. Although I know, you know what? I'm going to take that back because I know a lot of couples where he or she or he and he, they don't want their partner participate. Why don't you come with me and go play? No, that's my time alone. I think the only piece where you get in trouble is when you double down and you do you know what you were getting into. This is what I do, and I will not compromise on any of it. And to me, it plays to your maturity. It is an absolute indicator of your maturity.
Well, it depends on what the compromising is. If you have a child, you have different things going on. Life's different now. You brought this baby in. My job has changed, blah, blah, blah. Or is she trying to take over some type of control of maybe his schedule because he's lost his masculinity?
Oh, jeez. No. God, that's pathetic.
You're not bringing any money into the
That's
house. You're out playing golf 3 or
pathetic.
4 days a week. What's the deal? And he's like,
So you can't go
well,
golfing? You're
I'm
a
just
bad boy?
I'm just telling you what guys do, because guys, for the most part, want to use that line. I totally agree with you. You know what you're getting yourself into is always an argument starter. But guys want to set the table and set a bar for what they want and what they think they need in their life to be happy, and they're not going to budge on that because they feel like if they budge a little bit, it's going to be a sinkhole of compromise. Next thing you know, that's why guys don't do laundry.
But
I do the laundry, I do the cooking, I
know
do the
you
cleaning,
do,
I do
right.
everything around here, right?
It's got
So,
ferns.
I got ferns, I got it all,
He listens
right?
to soft.
I don't smack guys' junk, I don't do any of those things. But that's where guys will do laundry. They usually do it. And she's tired, so I can get her to go to bed with me.
It's foreplay.
But they do. I actually kind of.
I like doing laundry. I don't like folding.
I love clean clothes, boy.
Folding frustrates me.
They do laundry, but they don't do it well.
Right.
Because if they do it well, then she's going to expect me to do it for. Well, you did it last couple of weeks, and I really appreciate it. And you're like, oh, next thing you know, I'm spending 4 hours on Sunday doing laundry. That's why guys
There's a
don't.
difference between well and different, right? If they do it differently, they don't think that you're doing it well, but you're just doing it.
I know guys
differently.
that do household chores really bad just so that just
Well,
forget
sure.
it. Just
Well,
forget
yeah,
it.
that's
I'll
a
make
whole
dinner.
different
But you see,
strategy.
they know that. I mean, if you're if you're the partner and they're doing it bad, we did this. This is the trash can thing and the spoon thing. If you're the partner and you're purposely doing it bad to get out of it, and your partner takes over for you, then A, you're very unsophisticated for trying, but I get it. B, your partner's an idiot.
Yeah.
Because the smartest thing that you can do, I mean, imagine this with the laundry thing, and I did the best that I could. I get this at my house. You're 50 years old and you have a PhD. I think you can figure out how to fold the laundry. I'm confident you can fold the laundry.
Don't you think, though, that guys are much more compromising and wanting to help and do more things, though, around the house than women are?
No.
Really?
No.
I don't see too many. I don't see too many women cutting grass. I don't see too many women changing.
But you know why? It goes back to the guy thing. Don't you cut the grass? I cut the grass.
Yeah.
Well, that's right.
And it is, and it is. Well, first of all, the cutting the grass. We're gonna do a whole show on it. Cutting the grass. That's our territory.
That is our.
That's my
territory.
private time.
No,
That's my leave
don't
me
ever
alone.
let your wife cut the grass because when she does, you've lost the job.
I let
because it's 3 hours of mindless crap,
That's
and we
right.
need that.
But see, one of the best days I had with my girlfriend was we were out in the yard. I was pressure washing, and she was pulling weeds.
Yeah.
And we were actually doing stuff together.
See, but that's
He laughs.
You were
but-
pressure washing, and she was pulling weeds.
Yeah, man.
That's beautiful.
And then we went in the house and
Did you put your little?
see. See?
Did you take a shower first?
No,
Nope,
because it
dirty.
smelled like the outside.
heck yeah.
I don't know, man.
Christmas vacation. Julia Dreyfus. He's like, I'm going to make love to you and lick you all over right after you take a shower.
That's right.
He's like, okay. See, that guy was a wuss.
Do you really think that we do this as humans? All this stupid crap that leads to divorce, it leads to affairs. Do you think we do this because we're just not capable of like being in relationships? I'm serious. I mean, I'm the psychologist, but sometimes I look back, I'm like, why do we do this stupid stuff?
I think when you have to use a phrase from a therapist that I know really well, we're not meant to be together forever.
Okay.
He has used that line a million times, and I never wanted to hear it because I do believe that you can grow closer together. But when you have two lives, and say you start at 25, inevitably those lives are going to ebb and flow and change. I always use the I-65 analogy. They're going to change, and the hardest part of marriage or any relationship is trying to stay in touch enough and communicate enough and understand why they're changing the way they are, for good and for bad.
Yeah.
And if you want to go apart and go, that's stupid, I can't believe she's picking up this new hobby, I'm not going to support that, blah, 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 then it's not going to last. If you're secure enough in your own independency and you can figure out a way to learn and you're both growing at the same time, then you have couples where one person's growing, the other one's not doing anything.
That's right.
One's just like, I'm happy and I'm not going to change. And okay, good. Then you better know that going in. Because between the ages of 25 and 45, and I use 20 years as an example because 20 years is when most people get divorced, then you're going to probably have issues.
Right.
I'm going to change my life.
It's because you go in.
So yeah, I mean, it's very difficult, but it's not that hard.
But it's what you want. Like, to me, this is the interesting thing. You go in and it's all good, or it feels all good. And then it gets old, right? It gets old. And it's going, by definition, it's going to get old because it's 25 years. It's going to get old. And to me, the interesting part is after 20 years or at 20 years, what do you want? Like, is it worth it? This is the interesting part to me. Is it worth it now at 20 years or 25 to still be in this relationship, knowing the 20 years behind you, all the compromise stuff, or, and forget religiously, you have a choice. Do you want this because of this person, or is it time that you don't want this anymore? You don't want this anymore. I mean, this is what happens because it, to me, it's the cost benefit. How much is it worth to you to compromise? Mm-hmm. How much is it worth to you and you have a choice. You can either be by yourself and not have the good stuff of this, or you can compromise yourself. And that compromise may be even something like they've asked you to grow.
Yeah.
They've asked you to get smarter. They've asked you to change. And you have to make that decision. And I think that the challenge is by 20 years in, you're tired. You're tired, and it's hard to think. It's hard to think. It's like, right now, I don't like this.
I do think, though, it's really important to be cognizant of what your partner is growing through, though, too.
Absolutely.
Because if you sit there and say, well, I'm deciding I want to take piano lessons, just using an example, or I've decided I want to go pick up golf, you've got to show some interest in that. Because, and listen, we should both have, I've got a friend of mine who has been married for 22, 23 years, got 2 kids. They're getting a little older now, and they have more separate time than I've seen of any couple in my life. As a matter of fact, they're always posting pictures, and they're never together. And I'm kind of going, and she gets, and it used to be, he used to have a week with the boys down at the beach. She'd have a week with the girls down at the beach. No problem. Now they're having 3 weeks a year down at the beach, and she's down at the beach, and she's with her sister, or she's with her friends. He's with his drinking buddies. They're playing golf, this, that, and the other. And they're posting pictures all over the place.
It can
I'm
work.
assuming it can work.
It can work.
I don't think there's a formula for everyone, but
No,
also I
agree.
think there a lot of young couples don't have a concept of what real love is. I think that just because that person is not giving you goosebumps right now, they've fallen out of love with them. And it's just ridiculous.
But see, that's the thing that's so interesting to me about that. Every couple, anywhere you look, talk to any marriage therapist, anywhere you read, everybody knows that. Like, everybody knows that going, we know there's going to be a time where, right? But as soon as it starts happening, you wake up and you look and it's not, I'm not feeling it. There is this, instead of leaning towards, there's this pulling back. Oh God, what's happening? I don't have the same feelings. I'm not as attracted. They're getting on my nerves. And that's the part where usually couples shut up. They don't say anything, or they get in fights.
That's when you need to go to counseling.
Well, or at least talk.
But also, I'm not responsible for my girlfriend's or wife's happiness. I think a lot of spouses think that the other person is responsible for their happiness.
No, they're not responsible. I agree with you. The reason I'm hesitating, the only reason I'm hesitating on this is, if you don't bring them happiness, like not all of their happiness, but
don't be a shitty person.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you don't bring them happiness, then they're in the position. Well, okay, what do they bring me? Like they bring me food, money, or whatever. But yeah, it is your responsibility to bring happiness into their life. But it's not your responsibility to make them a independent, happy adult.
Well, just like the philosopher said, Will Smith, that one happy person brings their happiness into another happy person's life.
This is my favorite.
And they're happy together.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah. Can I say it? It's my patent.
Yeah, it's a circle, right?
No, it's my thing.
You have to have a man, you have to have a woman, and you have to have the relationship. They all three have to work together.
Look at that.
I learned something from him.
Well, no, the relationship lives and breathes by itself, and that's the problem.
Right.
That's the problem, is we spend a lot of time, we get all out of whack. So we're either spending time on ourselves, right? It's about me, and I need to grow, and then we forget the other two pieces. Or, to get back to the thing we were talking about earlier, we're hyper-focused on our partner. Are you okay? I want to make sure you grow, and all that stuff. And then we fall apart because we're compromising everything. We're compromising our morals, our values, blah, blah, blah. Or we're all about us and them, and we don't look at the relationship itself. How is this relationship working?
There is it's a puke factor.
Man, this is like, we're like, sound like marriage therapists.
No, it's a puke factor for me, but that couple that does everything together, it's been together forever. There's something very attractive about that. But it takes two people, because we're all different, right? So you may be someone that's codependent on someone, and you're really good at that, and they're codependent on you, and together it works great.
Can I tell you something?
They don't get their feelings hurt, and they're just, it's.
So there's two levels of that really quickly, because I think this is where we get envious when we don't need to be, and there are times when we should get envious. There are those couples who've been together forever, and they do everything together, and you look at them and you love them and hate them at the same time because your relationship's not the same way. Yeah. So that one, yes. But then there's the other couples that on the surface, everything is, I love you, how's everything going? We're great, we're kissy-kissy, everything good. And you know what? I'm going to tell you, underneath, it is a complete chaos mess because they're staying up here and they're not dealing with all the stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true. When you're around other people, they put on a good show.
That's right. You were going to tell me something when I first walked in. You said you had a few things on your mind.
And that was it.
What? Men's junk? I brought up the men's junk thing.
Yeah. No.
What was on your mind?
No, I wanted to get into the whole masculine thing. I just think it's amazing how many guys are not willing to give up anything. They're willing to give up 10 years of their life. Then I went through the whole list of, what would you do want to give up life?
I don't buy that, to give up 10 years life. I don't buy that. Because it's too abstract. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's easy to say, yeah, I'd give up 10 years of my life just so, rather than give up meat.
I honestly don't think I could become a vegan, even if I had to. Obviously, if I was going to die, then I'd do it.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. This is it.
We know we can't do it because people out there right now are 40 pounds overweight. And they're like, if you keep eating like this, you're going to die, and they keep eating like that. We're weak.
But you can, come on.
I know guys that got gout that won't stop eating meat. They're like, I'm going to live my life. Okay, people that got cancer still smoke cigarettes.
Yeah, it's up to you. It is up to you. I'll tell you, if you got anybody around you, if you have, family, loved ones or whatever, if you got cancer and you're smoking cigarettes and you got kids or a spouse, then that's pretty damn selfish of you.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, to give up meat and I got gout.
It's funny.
You would give. Here's the thing. I know you.
Yeah.
You have your whole Mr. Tony. I'm a man's man.
That's right. That's
BS
right.
is so right. BS.
That's right.
Because you love meat. You do drive. You are chivalrous. You have all those things. But I know you. If you needed to give up meat for some health purpose or hell for your kids, you'd be the first one to do it.
Let me ask you this, and then we'll go back to this masculinity thing.
Do you see what he's doing? Do you see what he's doing?
No, because I'm going through this part of my life right now where at the age of 55, I'm finding myself doing things that aren't very masculine, and I'm like, I can't do that.
All right, come talk to me. Talk to me. It's okay.
Right? So like I was watching a movie. It was like 4 o'clock on Saturday morning. I get up at 4 o'clock just so I can have 2 hours.
Was it a Hallmark video?
I'm turning into my dad. It was. Shit.
Yeah, that's bad. Okay, come on. We got to talk about
it. It was
that.
a Robert Downey Jr. movie, and that's the only reason. That's the only reason it was masculine to me. It's called The Pickup Artist. It was like in one of those movies with the Breakfast Club.
It's like a rom-com. Was it rom-com or just a...
See, that's not masculine.
Rom-com. Love me a good rom-com.
BOGO, rom-com.
BOGOs and rom-coms.
No. Rona. See, when you start throwing out words like that,
that's a
super,
West Coast thing.
That is emasculating.
Okay, go ahead. So you're watching a Hallmark movie with Robert Downey Jr.
What is wrong? What is
you find yourself
say a
crying.
romantic comedy? Buy one, get one. Takes just as long.
BOGOs.
Oh, it's
cool.
a BOGO.
BOGO's cool.
Okay.
Okay,
So
go ahead.
acronyms are not masculine.
No,
No.
they're not. Hey, DL that KCast radio app, by the way.
If I hear you say ASAP, I'm gonna.
I don't say ASAP. You know why?
Because ASP's...
Because when you say ASAP, it is rude. When someone says, I need something...
Or it's an emergency. Right? It's either one.
If you write out, I'd like this as soon as possible, you're good. But if you say, I need this ASAP, you're being a jackal.
Right.
Jackal.
Unless someone's dying.
I don't ever use ASAP.
Well, no, like I need this paperwork because they're going to not resuscitate mom.
Exactly.
Then it's okay to say ASP.
Well, sure. But I don't ever use, or ASAP.
ASAP. Okay, well, go back. I want to hear talk about your
no, so I'm finding myself doing some things that my dad did that I thought I'd never do. And I'm a lot like my dad, which I'm in love with because I love my dad. He was my best man. And so there's some things where I'm like, that's kind of cool. But I'm thinking to myself, I'll never do that because that was a different generation. And so I'm finding myself and I get popped up on something that I'm like, okay, this, or even crying in a commercial. I'm like, I can't do this. This is ridiculous.
See, I'm not that kind of person. Like,
well, you're not old enough to understand this yet.
I'm 41 years.
You're not old enough
yet.
yet. You're not. You're not. When you have kids,
listen,
it changes everything.
I hear people say, "Oh God, I just did that. That's all my mom." I never say. If I am doing something like my mom or my grandparents or my dad, I'm being facetious. I'm making fun of them. But I don't purposefully.
No, it's not purpose.
And be like,
oh,
do you know what I do?
Oh, that's
I do that all the time.
See, I don't have anything in
You're very
me that
unique.
I'm fighting it a little bit. There's some things where I'm like, I can't do
They got
this.
commercials
This is
like
not cool.
They got the insurance commercial.
Become
like your parents. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
Okay. So what is it that you're doing? Like, okay, I'm.
You know what I did this
weekend?
weekend? You know what I did this weekend? What I started doing, and I just realized I've been doing it for like a year.
Okay.
After the washer's done,
go ahead.
I take the clothes out and put them in the dryer. First of all, I know women hearts are fluttering right now because they're like, "Oh my God, a man who does laundry." That's right. That's right. I do all the laundry.
Can you do it with your radio voice too? Because
I do all the laundry.
That's even better.
I do all the laundry, and I always use 2 bounce sheets instead of 1 because I want them to make them really smell good. Yeah, right. So you know what I do? I get a paper towel.
Yes.
And I wipe the inside of the drum.
Oh, for the moisture.
For the moisture and for the dog hair.
Yeah.
And I will clean the outside of the rim, and I will take the outside of the thing, and I'm wiping it down and I'm going, what in the hell am I doing? My mom used to do that.
So, okay, but can I reframe that for you so you'll feel better about yourself?
If I didn't have dogs, I probably wouldn't have to do that.
Okay, so I'm going to...
But I use, well, if I don't do that, then there's going to be hair in that hole right there.
Right.
And then there's going to be water on the floor.
Right.
And I'm going to have to call a repairman. So I use that advantage. Or if someone takes peanut butter and they put the spoon in the sink with peanut butter still on it, I'm sitting there wiping off the spoon, and I'm going, and I'm because I know if I stick it in the dishwasher like that, it ain't coming off.
Okay, so all right,
and I'm like, I'm being.
Right, so
you might as well just cut my right one off.
No, okay, hang on.
What's wrong with me?
I'm gonna make you. Can I help you here?
Yeah.
Can I help you? Because you went all over. There was 3 different ones, and they're not all related.
But they're all things that guys don't do.
No, hang on. I'm gonna make you feel better. Okay. The Hallmark movie, we got to table that one because, like, I don't know what's going on with that one. Put the Hallmark movie.
It was Robert Downey Jr.
Okay, we're fine. Let's just give it that you slipped up a little bit on your mask.
Molly Ringwald in it. She was kind of hot for
Robert Downey Jr.'s on Hallmark, his career is really taking a turn for the worst.
or it's cool. Or
I just switch around.
Watch that one.
And then you know what? Then I went back and found it again. I recorded because I missed half of it.
Okay, now you got a real problem. But let me hold that one. I'm going to tell you and make you feel better.
I've never seen The Bridge of Madison County, by the way.
You have or haven't?
I have not.
Oh, it made me cry.
The guy that wrote that is a true asshole in its truest form.
Then I'll watch it. Then.
Okay, but you ruined it for me. Okay, can I tell you about the drum thing?
Yeah. But he's brilliant.
But I'm going to tell you about the drum thing and make you feel better.
Okay.
So the way you just described it, oh my God, this is what my mom did, and the towel and the moisture. Think about this: if that drum thing was like your car, it's a piece of machinery.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you're totally. When you're talking to me, that's a piece of machinery. You're reducing the moisture, you're reducing the hair, which is going to gunk it up. If it was your car and it had that sort of thing, you'd absolutely do it. Yep. And the only reason you got all wigged out is because it's your mom doing it.
Okay, good.
So that one, so you're a man.
But
you're
also, new washers have tub cleaning settings. I just hit that button, tub cleaning. Yeah, clean the tub.
Yeah, but you still got to watch the moisture because we got a new one. I got and dog hair.
Well, my machine is a washer and dryer all in one machine. It's all one machine as a washer and a dryer.
Okay, I'm gonna do my laundry at your house.
Yeah. You got dogs?
Pretty sweet.
He's got dogs.
I have a dog. I have a Siberian Husky. The worst hair.
Okay, so what was the other thing you have? The Hallmark thing.
Peanut butter.
Oh, peanut butter. So peanut butter, I agree with you, except it's bad parenting, and you know that. Bad parenting. This is now you're being like a mama, and it's being a bad mama because what he's doing is those kids, they never wash off their spoon. I need to take care of. So what
if I'm the one doing the peanut butter? Then?
Well, yeah, then you're dumb. Yes.
You have plenty of animals around.
You know what I do?
Likes peanut butter. Just let them lick it off the.
You know what I do?
Yeah, that's good.
You want to hear, man? And if Jules ever sees this, so here's what I do. We have a relatively new washing machine. It's supposed to be high power. It's supposed to take off everything. I like my peanut butter. So I rinse it off in the sink, but there's a little bit left, so I put it in the dishwasher. When it comes out, if it's clean, I put it away. But every once in a while, like 50% of the time, there's a little bit that's left on there. Mm-hmm. What do you think I do?
Put it back in the dishwasher.
Right back in the dishwasher.
Definitely.
Right back in the dishwasher. I'm going to give it 3 shots.
Of
course.
Got
3. If it doesn't come off after the third time, then I'm like, here's the other thing that I do. And all my family thinks this is gross with the exception of my son. If it comes out of the dishwasher and it's got food on it, peanut butter, whatever, I just eat it. Not eat it, I use it. Because it's clean.
Yeah, I'll wipe it off and stick it. Yeah,
I don't even wipe it off. I just use it.
Yeah.
Is that wrong? No, you know what? That makes me a real man.
Yeah.
No, I don't use it, but I wipe it off and let someone else use it.
Do you listen to Christopher Cross?
It's his birthday today.
I know.
I used to love me some Christopher Cross. Sailing. Takes me back to my days.
Oh my God.
What about that Laura? What about the Laura song?
And he cooks and he folds laundry.
Yeah.
So you're either like
we're gonna make it.
Oh yeah. Dude, don't go there.
Maybe some Little River Band.
And you got your blue. You got blue socks on too.
England and John Forcoli and some Seals and Crofts, maybe.
Okay, well we've already talked about that. You and I are both in that. There's nothing wrong with that.